Yo, what's up, guys? This is Rafael from C Manga, and I'm here to give you a review of Green Blood Chapter 20 Resolution. And yeah, it's been a while since I last did a Green Blood review because the chapters don't come out as often or in any sort of schedule or timetable, so we have no idea when they come out. But I really wish they started releasing them more often because the series really is brilliant. The artwork is brilliant and beautiful to look at. It's such an amazing series because it's so different from all the other mangas you're used to reading. So yeah, hopefully we get some more. But onto the chapter, it was very interesting. It wrapped up the war between the Gravediggers and the Iron Butterflies, and we have a few interesting developments with the characters. I'd say mostly Luke Burns, Brad's younger brother. So yeah, the chapter just shows Ed Wood King, if you remember, Brad and Luke's dad, speaking with Jean McDowell, the leader of the Gravediggers, and they're kind of arguing because Jean finds out that Ed had brought in a Gatling gun, and Kip, who's Jean's son, has now basically made a deal with Ed to get it. So now that he sold that to him, he's brought this Gatling gun to the war where the Gravediggers are. And Jean's saying, "You're an idiot. Don't you know what you've done, bringing that here?" And we go to see Kip now. He's using it, and he's basically mowing down everyone in the war. Like everyone, not just like the Iron Butterflies. He's even killing his own, like shooting down the Gravediggers, because obviously he's a slimy git. He really is a creep, and he's obviously doing this to save his own skin. And yeah, we see Brad there as well. Everyone fearing the Grim Reaper, but he's being shot at, and it's kind of unclear what's happening. It looks like he's being shot, but nothing's happening. You just have Kip screaming like, die, die, like, you effing Grim Reaper. And then we go back to Jean now, who's leaving, and Ed's like, "What do you think you're gonna do?" And he's like, "Well, unlike you, I'm not a coward who just walk away from this. I gotta go and clean up this town and sort out the problems." And yeah, so he's left, and then we go towards Luke and Emma, and they're just talking outside, and she's basically explaining that whoever your brother was now, he's not the same person now. He's pretty much dead, so you have to, deal with your own life and leave, like, because he was given money to go and make land for himself and just start like a business for himself, safe and far away from all these problems. But Luke was pretty much like adamant he was not really listening to her, and he ends up leaving, saying that I don't think he even said anything really. He was just curious about that's who the Grim Reaper is. He knows who he is now, and he was like, regardless, he needs to go see him. So we go to the battlefield now, and everyone is pretty much wiped out by Kip using the Gatling gun, and he's screaming at Brad now, who's still survived. He's on his knees, but very much alive, screaming, "Why won't you just die?" And then Jean arrives now, and he looks at the Grim Reaper, and then he speaks to Kip, who's basically begging for his life. He's like, "Oh, I just used this and it still didn't kill me. You gotta save me." But he gets beat, like really, really hard hit from his dad, and knocks him down. And he basically goes towards Brad's, and Luke has arrived as well, and he stood in front of Thing to speak to him. He's like, asking for his brother. And then Jean says, "Oh, so is this, are you Luke, you Brad's younger brother, the Grim Reaper's younger brother?" And then it's like, he tells him to move out of the way. This is something you shouldn't see, and he aims his gun at Brad. But Luke adamantly stands there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm warning you, move. I don't want to get you involved or have to shoot you." And he still stands there, and then he turns around. He says, "Oh, regardless who the Grim Reaper is, or it's like," he said, "Brad Burns is still my brother." And he turns on him and points his gun at Jean, and then the chapter ends there. So yeah, it was really, really powerful moment there. We just see that he's got, as the thing says, resolution. He's doesn't really care that Brad is the Grim Reaper. It's like, as he said, Brad is still my brother regardless of what he's done or who he is. So he's there to defend him, and it shocked both Jean and Brad because they're thinking, that, well, Brad obviously was more shocked because he thought he would just disown him because he knows that he's a murderer. But no, he's proven that that's how much he loves his brother, and the familiar bond is mutual. They both are brothers, and regardless, that's how much they care for each other. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen next. Is Luke gonna shoot him? And if he does, it's most likely gonna change him, and he might become more involved now with what Brad's doing, and you know how all the criminal activity, things like that. He's gonna, if he does, this will be a good big turnaround for him. So you know, it's interesting to see what will happen next. And seeing as the war's been ended, what is actually gonna happen? It's just weird how they've kind of drawn up to this conclusion. So I'm really interested what's gonna happen next, and you know, maybe Brad will see his dad and try to go after him. He most likely just fall over. So yeah, that's all I can say about this chapter. It was short and sweet, and it got his point across. So yeah, if you know read this chapter, this manga as well, you know, leave your comments to voice your opinions. I want to hear if anyone actually does read this, because you know it's really good. And if you don't, I suggest you do, because it really is a good series. And if you did enjoy the chapter and the video, leave us a like, because it helps us out and the series, and subscribe for more content in the channel. And I'll speak to you guys for whenever the next chapter comes out.